Okay, so what we're going to look at today is some counting techniques. The fundamental counting principle states that if one event has m possible outcomes and a second independent event has n possible outcomes, then there are m times n possible outcomes for the two events together. Let's just have a look at maybe an example here. Suppose I've got a town over here, town A. I've got another town over here, town B. And I've got a third town over here, town C. Assume that there are two roads between joining A and B, and maybe three roads joining B to C. So how many ways could I get from A to C in this scenario? Well, I think you can quite quickly see that for any one of these three roads, you could have chosen either of these two. So in fact, the answer will be 2 times 3. And that's really is what the fundamental counting principle is saying, is that you just multiply. So let's have a look at another example. If I've got 3 pairs of shirts, sorry, 3 shirts, 2 pairs of shorts, and 4 caps, then how many different outfits can I wear? Well, if we take a simpler example and we leave the caps for now, then we'll see that in fact there are 3 times 2, and we've actually listed them there. So the blue shirt could either go with the grey shorts or with the red shorts, and so on for each of the other shirts. So a total of 6. If we now put the caps back in, then obviously we would have the 6 that we had previously, but each of those can be worn with any one of these 4 caps. So we'd have a total of 24 outfits. Right, one last sort of example. How many different 3-course meals can I have if there are 2 starters? We've got a soup and a prawn cocktail. There are 5 mains: burger, fish and chips, pizza, curry and rice or steak, and 3 different desserts: apple tart, ice cream, and fruit salad. Well, I think you realize this is going to be 2 times 5 times 3, 30 different meals. That's assuming that we have all 3 courses. Let's look at a slight variation on that. How many different meals could I have if I only have 2 of the courses? Now, first up, we'll just look at having 2 courses, but in a sort of standard order. So for example, either a starter and then a dessert, or a main and then a dessert, or even a starter and then a main. So what we need to do now is we need to look at the different possibilities. And so I could either have no starter. Now, if I have no starter, then there are going to be 5 times 3, because I've got a choice of 5 mains and 3 desserts. There'll be 15 possible different meals. Or I could have no main. Now, if I have no main, then I go from starter, the choice of 2, to dessert with a choice of 3, and there's 6 possible 2-course meals that I could have like that. Or, lastly, I could have no dessert. And if I have no dessert, then I've got a choice of 2 starters and 5 mains, giving me 10. Now, these are different scenarios, and generally in counting techniques and in probability, when we see the word or, we add. So, in fact, there are going to be 31 different 2-course meals that I'm going to have. That, of course, is assuming that I have them in the sort of standard order. If I said I could have them in any order, in other words, I could have, for example, the fruit salad followed by the curry and rice, then I would need to double this number, because each of these 31 choices could happen in 2 different ways. Right, that's the end of that little video.